and we are going to cover how you can modify the inputs to modify that structure. Okay, so let's start from how many object types are there in Maya. We have two object types, one polygons and the other one is knobs. So if you go to create menu, and you can see the knobs primitives and polygon primitives. So this is kind of the home of the objects here, and you can see there is a volume primitives, but this is not objects. This is there for like adding fog effect to the environment when you render, so don't worry about that. So here we have two options, knobs and polygon primitives. When you hover over it, you can see this sub menu here, and you can see it has a lot of objects, and when you click here you get the object here in the viewport or the origin area. When I say origin, I'm saying about this grid center here, this two bold black line intersection area. This is the center space of our 3D space. This is the center area. Okay, so this is one of the way to create primitives or objects. Basically primitives means basic shapes, so you can create from here. So you can go to polygon primitives, we can create here, or we can go to knobs primitives, we can click here. So basically polygon and knobs are two different object types, and they are made from different components. So we're going to cover that a little bit later. So this is one of the way to create polygons from this menu. When you create the polygons, we have one option which is interactive creation. Whether it's off or on, it's by default off. When you click it and it's off, it's gonna create the object here at the center. But if you turn on that option before you create, let's say turn on this, and let's go back again. Now it's on, and now I'm going to click here. Now it's not creating it by default at the origin. It's now allowing you to create anywhere at any scale. So let's say I'll drag here. This is the cube. First drag is the foot of the cube, and the second drag is the height. So I can create anywhere at any size. So it's little bit kind of you have to manually do it. So I keep it off unless I want it for specific reason. So let's turn off. So that is one of the way to create polygon or knobs primitives. The second way is the self. So you can see polygon modeling self is on, and I'm like assessing all the polygon primitives here, and some of the polygon primitives are hidden here to this triangle. If you right click here, you can see there are some other primitives hidden there. Okay, so I can, most of the time I use self to create polygon primitives, or knobs primitives are here inside surface tab here. Okay, and the third option I use is marking menu. So if you hold shift right click, first hold shift, then hold your right mouse button, you will get this menu, this like temporary menu. If I release, it's gone. So hold shift and right mouse button to see the marking menu here. This is object creation marking menu here, and from here I can create any polygon primitives. I think this is the fastest way to create primitives. Once you remember the position of the polygon primitives in this area, you can just quickly drag like this and you'll get the primitives. But that's for advanced users. As a beginner, I'll recommend you to use self or go to menu and create from here. Okay, so these are some ways to create primitives. Let's see how we can change the inputs. Let's say I create this polygon cube. Now it's selected, because I can say it because it's looks green highlighted lines. When it's not selected, it looks like this. So click here with the select tool. Now you can see in the channel box area our model, and here you can see inputs, and this is the polycube one. Click here to expand its option. By default it's collapsed. You need to click here to see the inputs. Now you can see we have some basic inputs. Now this is a very clean polygon primitives. We have not modified it in any way. So now I can go to inputs and I can modify it from here. So inputs is basically the settings of the fresh polygon primitives. So I can change this width, I can change the height. So how I'm doing this? I'm doing this by just clicking on the name, and now it's highlighted by the blue color. Now I can just hold middle mouse in the viewport anywhere in the blank area, hold middle mouse, then you can modify that value. You can see the value is changing. I'm changing the depth basically. So basically the depth is z-axis. If you are very new to 3D, you don't know axis. So axis is basically a direction. So basically we have 3 axes, means 3 direction, and the top down direction is y-axis, you can see from here, and this left right direction is the x-axis, which is the width. Front and back direction is, this direction is z-axis, which is, you can say, depth. So when I modify the depth, you can see it's stretching the cube in z-axis direction, because always remember z is depth, x is width, and y is height. Okay, so if I change this height, it's gonna stretch it in y direction. Okay, so this is one way. Just click and hold middle mouse drag to modify the value. The other option is you can go here and put any numerical number. It's simple. You can put any number and hit enter. So we have width, height, depth. We have some options to add divisions. You can say if I change this attribute by middle mouse drag, I'm increasing divisions, its structure. Okay, let's put some in depth, let's put in some height. Okay, so every primitives has its own set of inputs. So like for the cube we have this set, but you'll not get that same thing for a sphere, let's say. So for a sphere it has different options. So because for a sphere it doesn't make sense to have an width, depth and height, because sphere is basically a round circle. We cannot modify or stretch it. I can do that by using scale tool, that's a different topic, but we cannot do that through the inputs. So we can change this radius. So radius is basically the size of the sphere, and we can change its subdivision axis. Subdivisions is basically these lines. We need these things to modify the shape. So I'm not going to check every primitive's inputs in front of you. Give some time and check by yourself. Just go and select it, middle mouse drag to see the effect. You can say what it's doing basically. In the next lesson we are going to see how to select by using select, lasso select and pen selection tool. So I'll see you there.